Recording.
God damn, that was loud as shit.
Oh,
What the fuck was that?
recorded pod in
Was that
progress.
loud for you too?
No, not at all.
Don't edit that out.
Good.
Okay. So, were you able to finish the movie?
Dude, yes. And this time
Actually,
I actually restarted the whole thing. So I rewatched
really,
the
from
whole
start to
movie.
finish.
Yes, yes. So now I know the
Dang.
whole lore of Transformers 1980, 86.
Yeah, that movie basically encompasses like what the classic show is all about and like what longtime fans wanted from Michael Bay's movies. Cuz it's like, so do you remember how I was talking to you about how he doesn't keep any similarities at all besides like maybe Optimus or Megatron's personality?
Yeah, and the names.
Yeah, exactly. But like you could see nobody ever complained about like Optimus Prime, even though he's like a different, uh, completely different truck shape. He has all that. Like he just has a little bit of like similar face. But if you would have just kept the personality for some of the Transformers in comparison,
Like,
I feel like,
what's his name? The only guy I feel that I was like his personality was Hot Rod. All the other characters, at least in this movie, maybe you need to watch the shows to know what their personality is like. But Hot Rod was like the only one that I'm like I can kind of tell the type of person he is. Like the girl, the
mm,
motorcycle girl. Like
yeah,
I don't know her character at all. I don't know
you're
what
talking about
she's
the
about.
pink Transformer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, some of them don't have two distinct personalities. Like I don't think anybody was upset that Bumblebee wasn't like completely like the classic Bumblebee. It was more like some things people were looking forward to that were just completely different. But in the movie you watched, in the new one, they like copied the design like one for one. Like, do you remember seeing that guy who like has some mini Transformers come out of his
Oh,
chest?
yes. Okay. Should I say some opinions about the 1986 one?
Yes,
because
just go
because
ahead.
that
You can
was
start.
literally that was the first thing that I was like, oh, that's dope. Because I hadn't seen that yet on any of the Transformers, like a Transformer having mini Transformers. I was like that
Uh-huh.
like that. This was my first cartoon besides the movies, the Transformers one movie, and the Michael Bay. So this is like my first time
Like
ever
no
seeing
shows,
any.
no nothing.
Yeah,
That was your first
never.
ever
Yeah,
outside of Michael Bay.
yes, yes. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then freaking Megatron, he becomes like a gun. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Wait, it in the show or the movie? Are you talking about the movie or
in
the show?
the movie, 1986 movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
So you've
becomes a
never seen that
gun.
before?
No, so I was like, that's hilarious. He just becomes a gun. I was like, what? Like they just use each other. Like the guy becomes a radio. Uh,
Yeah, they
like I
just
was like,
use each other.
what? I didn't know you could just become regular objects, like become a
Yeah.
toaster or something, like
I thought they were
cook
all
some
cars or
food.
something.
Yeah, yeah. So he became a gun. I was like, that guy's using him. And so the guy like just opens his chest and then they come flying out. I was like, oh, that's cool. If they had like little spy ones or something like that.
Yeah. So what do you
So
think about that? Because like in Michael Bay's Transformers, you literally have like they could just scan anything and become anything. So it like doesn't matter who you are. You could kind of just like that one Transformer scan like an actual human being. It just became like, you remember the second movie how that girl was chasing Sam and she was a Transformer?
I don't remember those movies too hard. So
You
they
don't
did that.
remember? Yeah, like remember she had like that long tongue.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah, in his version they just can kind of become like, I never really thought about this because I didn't have a problem, but I just thought about it now since you mentioned it, that I'm like, they never really had robots that were like, oh, you are specialty for this because you could transform into this. You know, like we'll use you for
Yeah.
radio transmission because you're the radio robot, instead of like, we could all kind of do the same thing and whatever the story needs us to do.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you could just transform into anything, like all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Because some transform into two things, right? Like one guy, I think it was in this movie. What did he become? Oh, that was after the transform. Megatron. He became the gun, but then he also when he became the other guy, the purple guy,
When he was upgraded to Galvatron.
Galvatron. Yeah, he became like a cannon or something.
Yeah. So out of, you know how you keep asking me like about Transformers lore and stuff like that, like what are some
Yes.
storylines that are known?
Uh-huh.
So from that movie, Optimus's death has been like done multiple times,
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah,
also
yeah.
also Megatron becoming Galvatron. That is like a storyline
Oh,
that's
that's canon.
that's like as popular. Yeah, that's like as popular as like when Spider-Man becomes the Black Spider-Man. Like there's always a storyline where Megatron comes back like upgraded and like stronger than ever and everything.
And then what about what other lore might have did I see? Oh, the people. There's people in this one. They didn't have
Uh,
people in the new one. So I didn't know if the people was always
uh,
like they always had people. But I guess
they
people are just a
usually
part of the
do,
world.
but like, so like in Michael Bay's movies, a lot of people complain that they saw too much people. They wanted to see more of the more robot lore versus like getting backstory and spending their life with Sam Witwicky, you know, like that was one of their complaints. But I think that's just like the reason why they went with no humans, because they've already had like 6, 7 movies with humans as like taking up 50% of the movie. So I think for this one, they were just thinking, we've done that before. Let's just focus on the robots. That's what everyone has been asking for a long time. Plus, it's an origin story, so it's not like any room to put.
So finally when I was watching this one, I kind of like that I watched the other one first because when I was watching this one, I saw a lot of the things that this original one did that they kind of redid in the new one.
Yeah,
Um,
like
one of them was
throwback.
the when the boy, what's the little boy's name? Daniel? Do you know?
Oh, uh huh.
The is that his
Yeah,
name, Daniel?
I think so.
He gets in the exosuit, and then the girl robot is like transform, like just transform into a vehicle. He's like what? And then he's like transform, and then it doesn't work. He's like transform, and then like finally it like transforms and he becomes a car. And in the
Uh,
new movie, that's exactly what they do. Like they finally get the ability to transform, and they don't know how to do it, so they're all like transform, 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 and then
oh, really?
finally like the girl like only her feet transform at first, and then she's like roller skating, and then like Bumblebee's head is still out. He
Oh,
doesn't know how to put it away. So
uh,
I was like, oh, that's funny. That's how they did it. So
yeah,
there was a
because that
lot.
sounds almost like a for sure. Like, yeah, this is a callback. Like the
Yeah,
same line and
yeah.
everything.
I don't know. The old movie, bro, it's like so 80s, bro. Like
I know
so 80s.
it's outdated. Like
Like,
nothing. Like unless you
dude,
grow up with it, you're not gonna love it.
dude, like the music is just as loud as the dialogue, I swear. And like every
Oh, so you
scene,
can't hear anything?
dude, like the music will be blasting. Like usually you never hear background music. In this one, they make sure like there's background music. So
Yeah.
so every
Yeah.
song is intense, like 80s music, like and then the audio they're like talking at the same time. But this
You're
movie was like
struggling to hear what they're saying.
straight hands the whole time.
For who?
Just for everybody, it was like action,
Oh
action,
yeah,
action,
bro. Like
action.
the war, like they actually have like robots dying and everything.
Yeah, yeah. They do some cool stuff. Like there's a one scene where he's like trying to the jet guy. I don't know what his name is. He's like escaping and his foot gets caught. He just like shoots off his leg. I was like, oh,
Oh,
that was pretty badass. And then yeah,
I
that
think
war
this.
was
I think this
what?
movie was known, like when it came out, was known for being like darker, like because not just side characters were dying, like you know how they infiltrate the ship and then they just kind of
Oh,
like
bro,
shoot everyone.
they kill
All those robots are dead.
everybody.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
even like uh Optimus Prime dies, and then they're even throwing like Megatron off the train. They're like, yeah, like
Oh,
survival
yeah.
of the fittest. Like they get rid of
Yeah.
him. It's kind of dark. Like if
Dude,
you're a little kid
dude,
watching this, it was probably like traumatizing.
dude, it was point blanking, shooting people, like people
Yeah,
dying. It was dark. It was dark. But that's cool though that they're doing dark stuff because
yeah. That's kind of
nowadays you don't really get that. So I'm wondering if back then it was normal to do dark stuff or if it was also like, damn, they're doing
I'm
dark
pretty sure it
stuff.
shocked everyone, especially since they like, because I don't think they had anything like that in the TV show. Like maybe some robots, but they needed to be have them reoccurring. So I don't think they were looking to kill anyone. You know.
Dude, I have criticism with the way freaking Optimus dies, bro. Because I rewatched the scene today, so I got to,
Okay, I told you how Hot Rod, he got in the way. That was his rookie
dude,
mistake.
dude, Optimus gets shot. Boom, boom, boom. You think he's gonna die? He's
Critical
like,
hits.
yes, yeah. And then, bro, Matt, and then so then what's his name? Megatron. He's chilling. He's like, haha.
Yeah.
And then one punch of just like, poof, he gets knocked back so hard in critical, almost gonna die condition. I was like, I was
He
like,
got knocked
okay, I
down. You
get.
saw the damage he took on the way down, bro.
I was like, one punch did it to you,
Okay.
like.
Is that not consistent though? Because have they ever like they don't really have robots duking it out and just like
Yeah,
eating
dude,
punches, you know?
yeah, because most fights are like at most like five different exchanges max. So like
Yeah, and
they'll
then they're
they'll
kind of
do one
out.
punch and then it's done. Someone's dead by then. But so then I was like, seriously, that's how he got that hurt by one punch like that from. I was like, whatever.
Okay, if you were like 11 or
He's getting
12, bro, you
mercy.
would have been like, yes, like get him. Like you would have been convinced. If you were like
True,
11 or
true.
12, you would have been convinced.
My immersion wasn't that deep. I
I
wasn't
know
as immersed.
you had to watch it through the lens of a prepubescent teenage kid who was easily convinced.
Dude, I would have been going crazy probably. If I had the action figures in real time, like,
Right?
oh,
I gotta throw away Optimus now. He's dead. He's not here.
but yeah, so I mean,
Okay, but besides all that, because even so, you know how they go into that weird planet and there's kind of like French robots, like they
the
talk
the
like
the,
that.
the trash world.
Yeah, like even people who like Transformers and love that movie, I don't think that like that B plot is ever really praised.
It's like that's a
Like
random
people,
section.
yeah, like everyone who watches that kind of agrees, like, yeah, it's kind of random, or like we weren't expecting that,
Was
you know?
I was at that point I was like, okay. And then they just joined their team.
Yeah.
They just he offers them Energon, a piece of gum basically, and they're like, all right, let's do it. Yeah, I
Again,
mean,
when I was younger, like at the end of episode 4 when they're like attacking the Death Star and Darth Vader's about to shoot down Luke Skywalker and then Han Solo returns, like, "Oh, they joined the party, the ragtag team from earlier." That was
how the vibe
always
was.
my like Star Wars moment like when I
What,
watched the movie. It was the
that
ragtag team
Transformers
joining.
movie?
Yeah,
What?
no, 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 like just that moment was like, oh, the ragtag team of like uh unlikely heroes come in at the end,
Oh, funny you
to
said
help
Star
the
Wars, bro.
antagonist.
Because when I was watching, I was like, why am I getting a Star Wars vibe?
Really, you got a
And
Star Wars vibe from
there were
this?
certain plots that I was like, hey, that's kind of Star Wars. So like with Megatron
Uh
and
huh.
he's kind of fighting the Luke character, right? So Megatron's Darth Vader, and then he's being controlled by Lord Sidious, which is Unicron.
Oh
And then
yeah, yeah.
they had this like one fight scene which looks like the one from episode
5
6. Wait, five,
or
wait,
6.
6, where they're fighting all together.
Uh huh.
With Darth Vader, it kind of looked like that scene. I was like, oh, and then when they show them in the jets, they have like that same first person view of like,
Uh-huh, the TIE
and they're
fighter view.
flying. Yeah, the TIE fighter view. So I was like, it's probably a stretch, but I'm gonna go with it. Makes me more immersive. That's how I felt.
More immersed into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that final battle, okay, so there's like a couple things that I want to hear your opinion on.
Oh, okay, okay,
Uh,
okay.
what did you think of that scene? Because I was trying to hype up that scene when I was, if you're 9, 10 years old and you watch him go light our darkest hour and then he opens the matrix, bro.
Yeah.
You got the touch. That's the
Dog,
most like
dude.
chilling.
That did go hard, bro. And
Did you not get chills? Like that gives you chills.
chills, bro. Chills is a stretch. But but I was like, I knew that was gonna happen though. So a part of me was like, I knew this was happening versus if I didn't know, maybe I would have been more like, but like, you told me he's gonna freaking get the Matrix. So I,
Dang,
I was just
bro.
waiting for the part that he was gonna get the Matrix. But that before that though, when the freaking Unicron powers up and becomes a full planet, that's where I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know he was like
Like
a big Transformers.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't wasn't that animation kind of clean? Because you see every little
yeah,
like turn of like the thing
yeah.
coming out and like
Like when his
that
arm came
animation
out,
is
I was
always
like,
iconic.
yeah, I was like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
because it does
he's
like the hand like that and it
yeah,
just looks
yeah.
clean for some
It was
reason.
it was so clean. I was like, oh, I thought he was just like I thought
Just a
that was him.
planet.
Yeah, yeah, like a work, like a soul, maybe. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I thought.
That's why people don't like the way he did Unicron in Transformers, because as soon as I heard that there was a planet eating type of Transformer, like I just wasn't even interested in watching the movie because I'm like, I know there's not even going to be a resemblance to Unicron besides the fact that he's a planet. There's no iconic voice because you know who did the voice for Unicron?
Ooh,
His name is Orson Welles. You should look that up like right now. Like Orson Welles is a
oh,
legendary actor. I'm pretty sure this Transformers movie with him doing Unicron was like his last voice acting performance. He's like he has this movie called Citizen Kane. Yeah, yeah, that guy. Look at
there's
his
like some
movies. Like
old movies.
look at the movie Citizen Kane. A lot of people like it's joked about because it's like, oh, if you went to film school, you've seen Citizen Kane, but like it's pretty a lot of people can consider that like the greatest movie of all time.
This movie, the freaking black and
Yeah, I
white
swear.
movie.
Yeah. Not because it was like it's like the story's just so good. It is a good story, but that movie just did a lot of like filmmaking techniques that
Uh,
influenced like film forever. Like
over the shoulder shots,
yeah, like all that
panning.
shit. Like yeah. Like actually like, going from scene to scene, like having the set pieces represent the characters and what they're going through, like a ton of stuff like that.
Hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, that guy's like a legendary actor, and they got like this guy. Like imagine getting like if they got I don't know freaking Daniel
Tatum,
Day Lewis to do
Daniel Day
Megatron
Lewis,
in this Transformers movie. It'd be like insane.
Daniel Day Lewis.
So he's like known as the greatest actor like alive right now.
Really, him?
Swear, yeah, yeah.
Right now? I've never heard his name.
It, that's an opinion. I haven't seen a lot of his performances, but
Let me see his
yeah.
face. I've never seen this guy in a single movie in my
Never.
whole
You've
life.
never seen like There Will Be Blood or anything like that?
No, never. Lincoln? Does he play Lincoln? Is
I think so. Yeah, yeah, actually.
that the vampire one or the actual documentary?
No, the vampire killer? No, look at the
Yeah.
actual
Oh,
Lincoln
okay.
one.
I don't think I've seen it. Huh.
I've seen very few of his stuff. Like I've seen Go Down. I've seen Gangs of New York. That one's by the guy who did The Wolf of Wall Street and like Goodfellas.
Goodfellas? Oh no, no. Oh, he has a
Yeah.
movie with Leo.
Yeah, yeah, that one. See, Leonardo DiCaprio was always doing movies with Martin Scorsese, so he was in that one. That was another classic team up.
All right. If you want to talk about best actor, the man, the myth, the goat. Took it all
I
these
wouldn't
are
even argue. I
bangers.
wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with
Okay,
that
thanks.
because I haven't even seen all of Daniel Day Lewis's work to even give an opinion. I'm just giving you the background, the lore, the
That's
popular
weird.
opinions.
That's weird because I've never heard his name.
It's because he's
I
one of
also
those
don't know
actors.
what
He's
that just
he's one of those actors where he picks what he's doing. Like there's never he
uh,
never auditions. He'll never walk into audition. They'll send him a script and be like, if he thinks the script is good, then he's gonna do it.
ain't like that.
Yeah, like actually, he's got it like that.
The one percenter of the one percenters, basically.
Yeah. So imagine getting someone like that though, like to do your Transformers movie. So his voice is
Yeah,
like,
iconic.
yeah, pretty iconic.
So okay, so voice. Do you think it's like a sellout to have celebrities as voice actors?
No, because I feel like if it's not celebrities who can do, well, what do you mean by celebrities? Do you mean seasoned actors or like just celebrities? Like they get Kim Kardashian to do
Celebrities.
a voice.
Yes. Like going back to Transformers, they had Chris Hemsworth as him. They had Scarlett Johansson as the girl. They had the Tyler
Well,
something
those are
something.
legit actors
That's what I'm saying. So like in the voice acting community, I've heard like people
complaining.
it's yeah, because they're like, why don't you get like a real voice actor to voice it versus like they just have a celebrity because they have their name tied to it. So because their name, like if you hear Leonardo's doing a voice acting, you're probably gonna go watch that. Um, versus if they just said like, you know, random person doing the voice of something, you know.
Well,
So
no, I think that's their fault because I w- it's funny you say that because today I was reading like a lot of stuff on like uh there's this video where this guy was showing all the voices he did, like the dubs for all these animes, and he basically was showing how he slightly changes his voice for like five characters from each anime. Like he has a monopoly on like anime dub male voices. Like it's insane how many times they just use the same person. And because of that, like I think they have a union, right? And so it's more like you got to know somebody to get into the voice acting business. So they just kind of give it to the people like their own little circle. Like, oh, we know we work with these people. We
yeah,
can just
yeah,
pay them the same every time.
true.
So I'm like, if you don't allow new talents to come in and you just recycle people, you can't complain if like Hollywood doesn't want to use your basic white guy voice and they want someone with like charisma. Like Chris Hemsworth, bro, he has charisma. Like he can play anything. He could deliver comedy, drama.
But going back to like, what if they could have put more money into the movie to make it quote unquote better, right? Because a huge chunk went to just paying these voice actors like 10 mil, or I think Chris Hemsworth was
True.
20 mil, Scarlett Johansson was 12, and then the other guy, I don't know how much he got paid. But so imagine that. I think their budget for this one was like 100 million or something like that. So I don't know.
Do
I don't
you
have a
think their
problem.
voices were like replaceable? Like, do you think it was like,
But
your voice wasn't too unique? Like, you could have been played with someone else.
like Chris Hemsworth literally talked like himself like the whole time. Like he just uses
Oh,
regular,
okay.
like all of them just use their regular voice. Like
Yeah.
in the 1982 movie, um, they all sound like robots. You know what I mean? Like they have that cool robot undertone. In this one, they're just like
Yeah.
normal, normal talking.
Like, it sounds like a normal human talking.
Yeah, it like literally. So I
So, would
mean,
you prefer like the slightly robotic voice versus just like, oh, I know that's Chris Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, because like it took me out the moment. I was like, I could just hear Thor talking. Like I just hear him.
Yeah.
So
You know
the
why I
part
also think that is?
why? Because like we watched a lot of him.
Yeah, but like also maybe he's saying a ton of things where you're like, you, you know how their lips are basically moving like they're actual humans, you know, like they have real facial expressions. And the old one is kind of like they don't animate themselves as if they're
They're
real.
just like,
Stick to the robot
yeah, like yeah. Here they're like,
idea.
what? And, like moving their
Yeah,
cheek and
they got
yeah.
eyebrows.
Yeah, so many expressions. No.
Yeah.
The it's so funny because now that I told you about the whole thing when I was watching Family Guy, like you can just see the animation. Like when I was watching this one, I was like, at least these animations look really like okay. Like they're not like horrible. So like
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, now you just have to have like high expectations for new anime stuff. Because if they were making at least decent stuff 70 years, not like 60 years ago, that movie's 60 years old,
I think it's like 50.
80, 82, about okay, about 50. Oh yeah, 25. Still, like the animation wasn't horrible. Like, they had some
Yeah.
crisp stuff. But so yeah, now when I was watching this, I was like, okay, like this is cutesy. Comparing it to the one. The one was like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, it was not even comparable, I think. I think they're like two different things doing the same thing. I feel like it's the same story. Transformers 1 and that movie. Like the
Really?
base.
How?
I know we're going back to Transformers, but um dude, literally it's let me see. What's the plot? I guess not really the same, but kind of same. There's a villain. They there's Omnicron, and the villain is with Omnicron. They need the what's it called? The leadership,
Oh,
the
the Matrix.
the Matrix of leadership. They need that in order to save them. Last second, they get the Matrix, defeat the villain, and Megatron lives. So
Hmm.
that happened
Well,
in
yeah,
both.
that kind of makes sense because it's like about Optimus getting the Matrix to become a leader,
Right.
and the original one is about Hot Rod getting the Matrix to become a leader. What would you rate uh the animated one that you just watched in theaters and then also the 1986 one?
It's they have way different scales of rating them, but the
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah. Like just compared to what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing,
okay.
like the
For the
time they were released.
for Transformers 1, I would give that one like a solid like 7, right? Like I thought the animation was cool, the story was cool, they did some cool stuff. I think the story becomes really good. I think the story carries some of the characters I don't really care about. So, the story is really good. And this one, then so I give that one a 7. The 1986 one, I give that one oh, that one's hard. I don't know. I'm gonna just give it like a 6, like maybe a 7 on a
Really?
good day. Like I think the action carries the most of
Even
it.
after you got
Uh,
chills from that scene with Hot Rod?
dude. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just give it a 6. I'm giving 1986 a 6.
Damn,
Hot
bro.
take. Hot take.
6?
I
Okay, do
think
you not
I
think the designs too were like pretty badass? Because think about who's the blue robot that he first gives the Matrix to?
something.
Say that again.
His name's like Magnus something.
Oh,
Like,
Magnus Prime, right?
is it? Okay.
I think it's Magnus Prime.
Yeah. Ultra Magnus? Oh, Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
Bro, Ultra Magnus, like the way he's like trying to live up to being a leader and everything. His voice acting too. All those voices sound so
His
like
voice, his
cool and
voice was, yeah,
iconic.
his voice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I got some points. That's why it's up there. That's why it's up there with 6.
Oh, that's carrying it.
Yeah, like a lot of things. For me, the thing that took away mainly was like I don't know. The story was like I get it. And
Yeah,
okay,
the
maybe I could
story,
bump
I'm
it
not
up.
gonna vouch for the story, being the best.
maybe I can bump it up for like straight action. And I told you how like I like action and stuff.
Mhm.
I'll give it a 7. I'll tie it with the other one. And maybe you rate it higher because you have that
Nostalgia.
nostalgia points. Then and it's like
Yep.
you got to see like a whole picture. You know what I mean? Like I dipped my toe in the universe and like got out. So I'm watching like a narrow version and like you have the full picture. So it probably is like a more impactful one. So maybe that's where like I lose some credibility in my rating, but still, it's like one of those where I'm like, I'm glad I watched it to know the lore because after seeing Transformers 1, I wanted to know the lore. And so this gives me some insight onto like some major plot points. And now I want to rewatch the live action ones
The live action
with
ones to
yeah,
compare.
just to see what they're doing because I feel like you've been saying like so many people don't like this about the movie and I haven't seen the movies in years.
And
So
wow.
like I always had a cool memory. I was like, those are fucking robots just throwing hands. Like, then they become
Yeah.
cool cars and they can fly. And then that super badass Optimus fight scene where he has like the sword and he's like chopping heads off. I'm like, yeah, that's iconic.
You know,
Bumblebee.
I loved those movies and I still do cuz people consider the second one to be like a god awful movie, like they think it's awful. But I remember
Mhm.
seeing it and being like, "Oh my god, they did the death of Optimus Prime and I know he's going to get resurrected and it's going to be epic." And they also have a Jetfire in here, but when people pointed out the fact of how they didn't have things, or like how far they went away from the source material, I was like, okay, I see your point. But then when I saw that intro to Bumblebee, do you remember me showing you that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
after
live
I
at
saw
the
the
one.
intro to Bumblebee, that's kind of the only thing that makes me stick with that opinion, because I'm like, oh, I saw it. Like I saw what you could have done and
Right,
what you
yeah.
chose.
But that was
So
after
I'm like,
though, right?
what do you mean?
Bumblebee came after all those movies.
Exactly. So I'm saying like I heard their opinion and I was like, okay, it's valid, but it doesn't affect me that much. But once I saw their opinion of like, look at the original 86 but brought to life, I was like, oh shit, that vibe is like so much better than the classic Michael Bay vibe. Just because Michael Bay, he kind of stuck his heels on the ground, like he doubled down. People complained about it. He's like, no, I don't give a shit. The fifth movie will be just as different than the
Yeah,
first or
of the
second.
yeah. And like and that's where like I'm like, am I just do I just not care about certain things because I don't want to see like an exact
Those flaws.
adaptation. No, like an exact adaptation
Oh, uh-huh.
of so I'm like do your own thing with it. Like, fucking around a little bit. It's like if you're watching Pokemon, right? Like if you were to watch Pokemon today, like I don't know when the last time you saw Pokemon, but Pokemon today is probably not doing the same thing that Pokemon back in the day was doing, but it's still the
For
essence
sure.
of Pokemon. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm all for it. So yeah, like I watched some like TikToks recently saying like Michael Bay did this in this movie in Transformers and this is how he did it this way. So I was watching like behind the scenes stuff and I was like, bro, doing like an action comic movie is like, I don't know. I think that's kind of crazy. Like, versus most people are doing, a normal movie, like, no CGI or like not like a sci-fi movie. So like when you have to like tackle something like of that project, I feel like because it is like a crazy, absurd world and not like reality, you can kind of fuck around with it. So like,
I still partly agree with you because I've like if I revisit those movies and I rewatch them, I'm not thinking like, oh, this could have looked like the original, but it's
yeah,
not. Like I'm still like, no, this scene where Optimus transforms, or when he comes off the carrier with the parachutes, he's like spinning. I'm still like, that's still the most badass thing I've ever
bad.
seen.
Yeah, it is badass. It is. But then
Yeah,
they just have freaking what's his name, Shia LaBeouf, like also the other 50% of the movie versus like
true.
these movies is like straight Transformers, like the cartoon straight
Yeah.
Transformers, even the new one straight Transformers, and like I think that is more badass than fucking I love
At
this
the end of the
girl.
day, the other like daily slice of life storylines that he's going through.
Get Fox coming,
I gotta
Fox.
move into my dorm. Oh my roommate's too hot, bro. She's
Oh
too
my god, I drive a fucking Camaro. Life's
hot.
hard.
I
Life's
drive the
so
most
hard.
classic, beautiful looking car. Oh my
I hate
god.
all it. Wait, did you didn't watch any of the other new Transformers? Like the
So
animal one?
I watched that one and I
Oh,
hated it.
okay.
I
The
hated
one
that
with
one. We
Pete
could do a whole
Davidson?
episode on that one. Yes, I fucking hated that one.
Really?
There's nothing
No.
about it that I liked at all. Nothing.
No. Dude, I like Pete Davidson's voice. That's
He
one
was
where I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. That whole scene, like that was good, but I don't know.
the
There's just a
that
lot of it.
that's a separate topic.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it too to collect my thoughts, but I clearly remember the feeling of my opinions being not good, like not a positive reaction.
Just have like a jolly good time going to these movies. I'm just like, watching, like, that's cool, that's cool. And like they're transforming and like that's a nice
As long
Porsche.
as they're transforming,
Like,
you're
yeah, as long as
satisfied.
they transform, like if they don't like the only time I'd be mad is if like they didn't transform. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
as long as they're transforming, I'm good. You know? So I guess that's how I
Honestly,
feel.
at the end of the day, the only thing I've ever wanted from all these movies, they could have even fucked up Optimus, but if they got Hot Rod right, like they put in Hot Rod and he was like a classic muscle car, but he had like that young personality and he becomes the leader, I would have been happy.
For that plot line. He
Hmm?
if they made like just comic accurate Hot Rod
Yeah,
or
just
like
classic, canon accurate Hot Rod. You could mess with everyone else. I don't give a shit. I just want a Hot Rod.
the Hot Rod's your favorite.
You got the touch. Yeah.
Bro,
This
I
is
didn't
the
even
end of the line or the road, whatever he says.
what does he say? Fuck, I forgot to bring it up. I was gonna say the line that they say to like till we're all one or what do they say?
Oh yeah, all for
Ah
one and one for I think I don't know. Oh, is
no,
that I
that's not
forget? Pretty much
not
continued.
the that's not the line. Uh
How could I forget
I don't
this?
know. They say it at the end, like till we're all united. I don't know, simple. But oh, I forgot to bring this up. Hot Rod, he gets like a new transformation at the end of this one.
Yeah, he's huge. Like he gets like into
Yeah,
this truck. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
rite of passage that the ancestors of Transformers like, no, if you're prime, you have to be a diesel truck.
A truck.
You have to, yeah, you have to be an 18 wheeler.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, does he? I'm wondering if he gets to still transform into the other thing. Because don't
When
they
you see him
expand?
open the Matrix and yeah, like you saw him like expand
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
like he grew big, like he got into that.
In the show, does he continue to stay like that?
Yeah, actually, because I think in the next season, he's the leader, like I think he stays the leader and then they do this evil Optimus storyline. I don't remember it that well, but I remember watching some of it.
Yeah, but that now you just have to kind of at least when it comes out to streaming, which I think it comes out the 30th on streaming. You should try to give it a watch, the new one.
I will
Yeah.
actually, because I've heard a lot of good things about it, that at least it was like a touching story or whatever, like regardless of the childish jokes and all that.
When I told I told like Jackie and Dahlia like that the Transformer movie was good, and then when they finally saw it, I went to them. I was like, "So what'd y'all think?" They're like, "Wow, we didn't think you had good taste in movies when you said the movie was when it was good. We were surprised." And I was like, "What?" Like, because it was like you said it was good, and yeah, it was good. I was like, okay, I'm glad. Burn,
So when they
but
heard you, they're like, "Yeah, fucking
they're
right."
like, what do they know about movies?
Let
That shit
me.
was good.
I'll see for myself.
Yeah. Then I was like, okay, I guess. But they said we didn't know yet. So I was like, okay, that's
Bro,
valid.
you're on your film arc still. Now you're like getting people the recommendations.
Yeah, I watched Wolf of Wall Street. I watched a couple movies. You know, I've
You know
seen.
who Leonardo DiCaprio is?
Yeah, he won an Oscar. No biggie. No
Daniel
biggie.
Day-Lewis.
Did he win an Oscar?
Yeah, for Revenant. You don't remember that? That was kind of a big thing. Okay, well, I think that is a solid episode, honestly, on Transformers the movie and Transformers 1, a little comparison. You being a new fan, me being the OG nostalgic lover of Transformers. That
Yes,
was
definitely.
a good little episode.
Yes.
Any closing
Yeah.
thoughts from you?
Closing thoughts. Mm.
Do you wish for this like cast and story to continue? Like, would you want to see the return of this
Oh,
same story?
yeah. They have to make a Transformers 2 and they have to call it Transformers 2. Um,
Okay,
just
you're tired of
to
like
be,
Age of Extinction
yeah,
or
yeah, no Transformers, the Mighty Prime or some bullshit. No, it's Transformers
Transformers:
1,
Dawn of
2.
Justice.
All right, I'm predicting it right now. Transformers 2 at the end. Uh, what's his name? Optimus Prime dies again. And
Okay.
in the second one, he's gonna have an apprentice named Hot Rod, and he's gonna find him
Ah.
in the second one. And then in the third movie is the recovery arc where all of them disband and Hot Rod's driving and scooping them up, making a team, and then he defeats Megatron in the fourth one. In the third one, I mean. In the third one, part two, because they're gonna break it up into two parts. And that's my
if they
prediction.
put if they put Hot Rod in the movie, I'm going like I'm gonna be like
Opening night.
midnight release. Yeah,
Let's
opening
go.
night. I don't care what my kids or my wife are doing. I'll be at the I'll be at the theater.
Oh, so nothing's changing?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I have to go see Transformers.
I don't care. You don't know what this means to me. Okay. But yeah,
Exactly.
I think I think for just watching the movie today, finishing it, it was a good putting my thoughts together on it. Glad to get
Mhm.
back into Transformer lore because I haven't. If it wasn't for Transformers 1, I probably would have not been talking about Transformers. But I randomly was like, fuck it, I'll go see Transformers 1. Like, just randomly. After watching Joker, I was like, I need to go watch something. And Transformers was out. And I was like, let's go see it. And then that got me back into just even it's on my For You page now, a bunch of Transformer stuff. Like, it's
They
it's
know.
they know what I've been doing. So it's cool to revisit things that you once were a part of because I really did. I've at least seen all of the live action Transformers, and I just totally forgot about like the lore and stuff. So it was cool. It's cool revisiting.
Well, yeah. And that's kind of like the one job you have when you're doing like a new interpretation. Like, just make them get back into it. If you would watch this Star Wars movie and then or not Star Wars Transformers movie and gone out with the thought of like, okay, well, I'm done with that. Like, I don't really need any more
Yeah,
Transformers content. Then that would be a failure.
yeah. So back in the Transformers gang, I'm gonna catch up with my lore, and yeah, for
For next
for
episode, we're
Transformers
watching every Transformers series from 1986
ever.
to 2016.
And we will be doing a special unboxing of a very rare 1995 Transformers transforming Optimus Prime in two in one 18 wheeler and action figure. So and
I
we're gonna
got
play with
1/16 scale of Unicron. Uh,
oh, and we're gonna make them fight each other to the death. Winner gets Michael. So
but
stay tuned for next episode for that. I guess that this has been it, right?
yeah, Thank you guys
All right.
for whoever is listening. Honestly,
Shout out to my girlfriend for probably listening to this. Shout out to all the peeps who are in the future coming back to this.
revisiting. Yeah, going to the
Yeah,
OG days.
yeah. Like we're thinking about y'all. So
Yeah, I know you probably just watched like our 400th episode or
the one
whatever,
with
and you want to throw it
yeah,
back.
we had Leonardo DiCaprio on this week probably,
Yeah,
and
we're having
we meant
guests.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we
either
called
one
it.
of the
You
two.
heard it here.
So
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. All
All
right,
right.
see y'all later.
Until next week.
Yep.
Wait,
Bye.
do we just like fake end it and then like keep talking, right? Like
Yeah, I
and,
think we just say bye, like at
and then
least,
and then yeah, okay. Because
Yeah.
now I'm like, how do I end the recording?